They came last term, yeah, for a bunch of things. So, anyways, they're keeping me off guard this team.
Recording in progress.
Anything on Powell Lake? Lake?
Oh, I'm in charge now.
Association.
Thank you, everyone. Good afternoon. I'm Michelle Jones, Corporate Officer for the Qathet Regional District, and I will call this Wednesday, November 6th, Regional Board meeting to order. First, I would like to acknowledge that we're joining from the traditional territory of Tonga Nation. And as this is our first meeting in November, our first order of business will be election of the chair. I will now call upon members of the Assembly for nominations for the position of chair. Director McCormick.
I nominate Director Brander.
You, Director Brander, you've been nominated. Do you accept?
Yes, I do.
Thanks very much. I will call a second time for nominations for the position of chair. Chair. I will call a third and final time for nominations for the position of chair.
You can nominate me, and I don't think I'll win.
I'll nominate Director Elliott.
Director Elliott, you've been nominated by Director Gisborne. Do you accept?
Sure.
You?
I'll win.
I always like elections. Oh, jeez.
So as we've had two nominations for the position of chair, we will go to election by ballot. And I will hand out.
But you don't get to see who.
Director Fall, if you could email me and I will write your submission on the ballot.
Right.
I'm gonna do what she tells us to do.
Or do we go ahead and write?
Sorry, did I not give you guys a pen? Who needs one? Okay. Thank you. Okay, we'll come around and collect them. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. I can call upon the Deputy Corporate Officer to come and review these. I should have provided you guys an opportunity. Okay. Director Brander has won the position of chair. Prior to turning the meeting over to Chair Brander, I would ask for a motion to destroy the ballots.
Moved.
And now I will call for vote on that. All in favor? Any opposed? Thank you very much. Chair Brander, you may now assume the sorry.
City.
All right.
That is for addition to this meeting.
Okay, well, thank you very much. I appreciate the confidence that you've put in me, and I look forward to another successful year. So moving on, we have the election of the vice chair. We have a recommendation in front of us. How do we wish to proceed?
Recommendation.
Okay, thank you, Director McCormick, seconded by Director Elliott. Is there any discussion? Director Gisborne?
Yeah, at UBCM, I was speaking with a young lady who had a newborn baby and was the chair of a regional hospital district. And question came up of, you know, how do you find the time? She said that she shares that time and splits that time with her vice chair because they elect a vice chair on an annual basis. I know this has come up at the hospital district, but I'd like it all to stay on our agenda, or sorry, not our agenda, our minds, that I am very much in favor of electing a vice chair to serve on an annual basis to work with the chair. So that way folks with busy schedules or young parents can see themselves having that opportunity. And it would allow as well for more people to really understand the role of what the chair does, because it's a much more complicated thing than chairing a committee. That's why there comes with an increase in pay. I know our procedure bylaw says that we must do this, but I'm going to be a bit of a rebel. I'm going to vote against it just because. And if it fails, then what happens? Because then we're not being consistent with our board procedure bylaw.
Yeah, thank you. I think that this made it on the agenda just because that is what historically done. However, I will, if I may, Chair. The issue of vice chair has been addressed and submitted in the procedure bylaw review, and so the hospital board will have be considering options, and then after that, of course, the board will consider those options. And at that point in time, the board may, if they make a change to this procedure, we can address vice chair in a different way.
Seeing no other hands, where's Andrew? There's Andrew. No other hands up, I'll call the question. All in favor? And none opposed, motion carries. Oh, sorry, Director Gisborne.
Sure, just one quick question for everybody. Who's next? Or maybe that's for the corporate. Who's next on the rotation?
Oh,
just so we know.
Thank
yeah,
you.
who's the current?
Thank you.
It's me.
It is based on last name.
Yep.
So I'm just going through, I think it is Director
Out, but now
it's Director Elliott.
Replaced by S.
And then Director Gisborne, then Lennox.
So that'd be fall
Oh, fall, sorry, missed you.
or Lennox.
EF, yeah.
Okay,
We
I'll-
will
I'll
share
take
the,
it.
thank you, Chair. And again, when
DL.
you see the new meeting schedule, we always put who the vice chair is for all of the meetings on that invite.
Thank you.
Great. So approval of the agenda, 4.1,
So moved.
Director Gisborne and Lennox. Any discussion? No hands, all in favor? None opposed, motion carries. Minutes of the regular board meeting, October 23rd, 2024. Are there any errors or omissions? Seeing no hands,
Move adoption.
we have pardon?
I'll move adoption of the minutes.
You move it, okay, and seconded by Director Lennox. All in favor? None opposed, motion carried. Yes.
The Well, I just wanted to, I don't see it on the agenda, but we should be welcoming our new director.
We should, and this is a good time to do it, I guess. We've got, Southcott is joining us now. We're very happy to have him, but we are now also up to delegations, and we have one delegation, familiar face,
Special
visitor
visitor.
to everybody in this room, so welcome.
Introduce yourself.
Introduce yourself. Yes.
Hopefully you're here.
Oh, some of you may remember me from the old days. Last board meeting when I was actually sitting in Director Southcott's chair. And I had been sitting in that chair for 6 years. Actually 6 years almost exactly till today. And went home from the last meeting and I thought, that was a long day, it was a long week, and it's been a long 6 years. Took a look at the agenda for the council meeting, it was coming up the next day, and I thought, I think it's time for some new blood. Time to pass the torch to someone else. And it's been passed. The city has chosen a new good person to be a delegate, representative of the municipality. But I didn't want to go without saying goodbye. And offering my respects to Chair Brander, our new director, Southcott, Director McCormick, Director Elliott, Director Lennox, and Director Gisborne, all of whom, and Director Fall. He's right up there on the screen, and every time somebody tries to forget him, people point to him. There you are, Director Fall, and all of the staff. I have actually enjoyed all of the time. Some of the days have been really long, and some of the debates have been tough to go through, but we've always come to decisions. And I've always respected the other people at the table and appreciated the work that staff does. So I just wanted to come today to say a proper goodbye, say I've enjoyed it, and it was a good 6 years. And I'm sure I might come here again someday to complain about what you're doing. None of that today.
I don't consider it a goodbye. We see you around all the time. We will see you around all the time, but I think I can speak on behalf of the board and the staff that we've really appreciated the time that you've put in. You've been a very, I guess, a calming and organizing voice on the board. So I've personally found you to be extremely valuable. I'm very glad that I had a chance to work with you for 6 years.
It may seem calm on the outside. Not the same on the inside.
No, well, you hide it well.
You're gonna stay for the whole meeting then.
No, I'm not. I'll tell you, I'll give you 2 cents worth of advice as a municipal director. I woke up this morning and had breakfast with joy in my heart. I had a Zoom meeting in the morning and, maybe 20 minutes or half an hour to speak to my friends here this afternoon, and the rest of the day is mine. And I just want to say that I understand why the board's decided to block all their meetings into Wednesdays and do all that work at one time. But I found for a municipal director, that was an incredibly difficult amount of work. You get all of the regional districts to prepare meetings to prepare for, committee of the whole meetings to prepare for, and the day before the regional district, council meetings in the day after, to get that all coordinated and have your mind on what's going on at all. Incredibly difficult, but I don't have to worry about that anymore. But maybe you want to think about it when you're scheduling your meetings for next year. Anyway, thank you for the experience. I appreciated it. I want to say proper goodbye, so I will do that.
Adios.
Thank you very much for your time.
Well, those are the
Which brings us to 8.1, notice of resignation from office. So we just have to acknowledge that, correct?
Thank you, Chair. This is, I'm required to provide notice to the board at the next meeting after I've received it. So through this, through item 8.1, there's no requirement for you to receive it. It is complete.
Okay, thank you. We have on the same lines, correspondence regarding the municipal director, appointment of municipal director. Any business arising from that? I can't imagine. We have the consent agenda in front of us. Anybody want to pull anything from said consent agenda? See no hands, so do we have a motion to move consent agenda, Director Lennox and I almost said McCartney. It's a long day. Well, it just flows off the tongue. So is there any discussion? I guess there is no discussion because we've already moved and
The
seconded
consent
it, so
agenda.
it's the consent agenda. So all in favor? None opposed, motion carries, great. Going all the way down to question period.
Something added. Oh, yes,
Oh,
thank you.
yes, you're right. Thank you.
Good catch.
We have item 13.1 under resolutions. So we dealt with this in the earlier finance committee meeting. Discussed it to death, I think. So if I can get somebody to move and second, Director Elliott, seconded by Director Fall. Any discussion?
Chair,
Yeah.
let me read it out just because the folks who are watching won't have access to the page.
Sure. You want to go for it?
Thank you. I move that the Qathet Regional District Board contact Council of the City of Powell River with a proposal to jointly and equitably fund the 2.5 million required for the completion of the final stage of construction of the Resource Recovery Center, utilizing Community Works grant funding with contributions based on the formula for each area's proportionate share of equitable funding established through the Solid Waste Management Service allocation as follows. The City of Powell River provides 1,298,535. The Qathet Regional District to provide 1,201,465 for electoral areas A, B, C, D, and E.
Great, thank you. So I'll call the vote on this.
Discussion, or is that it?
Well, I open it up for discussion.
That's not moved.
No, we had a mover in a
Just rush
second.
it, just rush it.
Alright.
You want to rush it? Right.
No, we had a mover and a seconder, and then Director Elliott asked if she could read it for the people who weren't here. And we offered discussion, and if you want to, please raise your hand. Yeah. Wherever you guys want.
Yeah, we discussed this at length at the finance committee. Now it's before the board on the same day. One of my thoughts are when we have an item going before a committee, before it goes to the board, it actually gives the public some time to know what we're doing. And this is something that is going to very seriously impact the electoral areas, especially when it comes to their water systems, their fire protection, the costs that they're going to pay for their fire trucks. And I think that having this go through on the same day is going to deprive the public of the opportunity to come in and actually give their feedback on what it is we're doing with their money. So I would be in favor of having this take place at the next board meeting, but if we want to get it through today, it's up to the board. But for all the reasons I put forward at the finance committee, I'm not in favor of this because really the ultimate end of day, if this passes, will result in no real change at the city's taxation, but over in the electoral areas, it will result in an increase in taxation where we will have to take out increased borrowing for our fire apparatus, our water systems, and it will, in essence, give large industries tax breaks that they don't really need. So that's why I'm actually not in favor of this.
For your comments, Director Lennox.
Yeah, thanks, Chair. And just maybe for folks who are watching the board meeting that may have missed our finance meeting, we're moving quickly on this. It kind of came out of finance today and we're at the board now. And if you watch those deliberations, they went on for some time and I was opposed to this. I'm still opposed for the reasons that we've went over quite fully, but I encourage people because we are moving quickly to find that last meeting.
Okay. Director McCormick.
Thank you. I take issue with Director Gisborne's comment because this motion does not commit us to spending anything. It commits us to contacting the city regarding a joint proposal. That's the extent of the commitment outlined by this recommendation. So I'm willing to support that. Subsequent motions will deal with taxation and how the impact of this will filter down to the electoral areas in subsequent meetings. Right now, this is just to contact the city, and I do support that.
Okay, thank you very much. Are there any other people that want to comment? Director Gisborne.
Thank you. In response, yes, the motion is to contact the city. However, if we decide to do anything different in the future than what is in this motion, then as our CAO previously clarified, we will be negotiating in bad faith, and that is then inappropriate. So this essentially does bind us to future decisions. Otherwise, we can change our mind. You're absolutely correct, but then that comes with the weight negotiating in bad faith. So if we vote in favor of this, this is it. Or we vote in favor of this with the intention of not holding up to our word. That's why I'm saying that. And once we pass this, you're essentially saying, hey, city, if you agree to this, our community works funds are essentially not able to go to our fire apparatus or our water systems or improvement districts, and the local rural taxpayers are going to have to make up the difference. And really, it doesn't make any difference to the city's taxation. It makes a difference to ours.
Okay, so I'm not seeing any other hands, so we'll call the question. All in favor? Any opposed? 2 opposed, Directors Lennox and Gisborne. Now we are at question 3. Councillor Isaacson. You do have it in camera.
Can I stand it? What's the intention of this? Question regarding the last item. The intention is to send a letter to the city, and there's an amount between the two. The motion references community works funds, but I'm wondering if the city accepts the offer and says, we accept it, we'll cover that much, but we actually want to borrow for it instead of using the community works fund. Or if we say yes to whatever, come back to you and you say, yeah, we'll cover that amount, but we actually want to borrow it instead of using community works fund. Does this motion still allow for that opportunity, or is the intent to behold the city and the regional district to using the community works fund? So through the chair, I just am looking for
Exclusively to the community works funds. I think I would defer either to corporate officer or Ms. Greenan. Either one of you want to answer it.
Okay, thank you, through the chair. It seems to me that the way that the motion is written, that it would mean that, that the city would have to use community works funds, or that's what we would expect. But I mean, as far as, for all intents and purposes, if the city decided to borrow, we would still get that amount of money. So I don't, the way I read it is it's worded that we would like them to use community works.
Okay, thank you. Director Elliott?
So this motion talks about our offer, and the city could do a counter offer of something different than what is offered, which would come back to the board to consider. So I would say it does not oblige the city to use any particular fund. If the city did alternate motions, came back with some other kind of thoughts, those would come back to the board would consider whatever it is the city has to say. However, if there's an alternate sort of thought from the city and it's a counter offer, that puts everything back on the table as far as changing things on this end, and you end up on a little bit of a back and forth kind of a thing. Yeah. Because yeah.
Thanks, Chair.
Okay, perfect. Well, then we are up to an in-camera session, so would you like to move that?
Do it, I think. I'll move that the board move in camera, the meeting be closed to the public on the grounds that the subject matter to be considered relates to matters covered by the community charter under section 91A, personal information about an identifiable individual who holds or is being considered for a position as an officer, employee, or agent of the regional district or another position appointed by the regional district, and I, the receipt of advice that is subject to solicitor-client privilege, including communications necessary for that purpose, and K, negotiations and related discussions respecting the proposed provision of a regional district service that are at their preliminary stages, and that, in the view of the board, could reasonably be expected to harm the interests of the regional district if they were held in public, and the consideration of whether a board meeting should be closed under provision of this subsection or subsection 2, and that last one is N. Sorry.
Seconded by Lennox. Any discussion? All in favor? None opposed? Motion carries. We're going in camera. Thank you.
Recording in progress.
Very good.
Okay, everyone's good. Thank you, Chair. We're back in session.
Great. Okay, the board would like to rise and report on the following. The board renewed appointments for Don Palfrey, Brian Miles, and Doug Smith to the Savory Island Marine Advisory Committee for a term of 2 years ending December 31st, 2026. And the board renewed appointments of Rick Jones, Harry Vick, and Julie Clark to the Texela Island Recreation Commission for a term of 2 years ending December 31st, 2026. And we have reached the end of our agenda, so this meeting is adjourned. Thank you very much.
Which meeting do we go back to?
Recording stopped.